Hey there, hi, welcome to the channel. I am Garrett and I am so excited because in today's video, we're talking about decorating the average living room. Now, average can mean a lot of different things and it varies depending on where you are. So be sure you're thinking about what is average for you and what does that really mean when you are decorating your space. Now, whenever you're decorating any room in your house, you start with the main item in that space, the reason you're going into it, the hero piece of that room. And in a living room, that's your sofa. You're going in there, you're sitting on it, it gets the most wear and tear. It also has to be the most comfortable piece in that space because otherwise we're just not gonna hang out in that area. So the sofa is the primary focus. There's lots of different types and styles of sofas you could bring into your space that'll send a message or set the tone of that room or add to the functionality. In my home, for example, I like a little bit more formality. So I have actual sofas. They're not sectionals, they're not modular, a sofa, because I like the little bit of glamour, the formality that brings to a space, and I can enhance that with other elements like accent chairs. But in your home, you may say, well, you know what, the way for me to get the most seating in this space is through a sectional, or maybe you want to lounge and you want a sectional with a chaise. I think that is fantastic and something worth looking out for. The big consideration you're going to have to make is the size of that sofa and also some of the features it might have. The average sofa, typically what you see, is about 8 feet long. You can find them longer or smaller depending on the size you need in your home. You can also look at the cushions it has. Do you want one long cushion? Do you want multiple smaller ones? And you can be the judge of character from that point depending on the look you want and also some of the needs you might have. When it comes to something like a modular sofa, I think that's one of the trickiest pieces to buy because it's easier to hide a lack of quality in those pieces if someone is unsuspecting and just doesn't know any better. Some of the things to look out for with a modular sofa are the materials it's made out of. Specifically the fabric choices used, because things will slide in between the modular pieces. You will get crumbs and dust, debris, pet hair in there, and it could actually do a lot of damage to the fabric on the sides of that piece. So you want to be careful about that. I also am always looking for a modular that locks together, because if you don't have one where the pieces all connect, it will slide apart. There are a few little tricks you can use out there to make your sofa not slide apart if it does right now. I've actually used zip ties before and zip tied the legs of pieces together to keep them connected, and that worked out fine. But you might want to get out there and see what types of hacks or tricks are out there that will enhance your space and make it more functional. 18 inches is the standard seat height for a sofa, and that's kind of where you want to consider. You can look for something a little lower, like in my home. I am okay with my dog maybe getting on the sofa once in a while when I am on it. He does not hang out there by himself. So I have a sofa that's a little bit lower because my bulldog does not have the easiest time jumping onto high surfaces, which is a good thing, but also it needs to be a little lower so he can when I want him to. That's okay. You can also get a sofa that is a little bit more streamlined and less definitively one style or another, and accent that and layer on that. You can use accessories, decor, and soft furnishings on that piece. I actually just recently saw an amazing video by Emily Henderson all about styling your home. It was on Skillshare, who just so happens to be the sponsor of today's video. There is nothing better than cuddling up and learning a new skill, because in this house, learning is a built-in part of the fall season, and I have been wanting to learn some new Canva graphic design basics and take some cooking classes. With classes and learning paths on Skillshare, it's been easy to do. Skillshare is the largest online learning community with thousands of classes taught by actual industry experts in areas we love, like business building, illustration, sewing, and even baking. That's right, it's true. Skillshare can help you take your career, passions, hobbies, and even side hustles to the next level. I personally like their learning paths, which are curated classes to help you master a specific and sometimes niche skill. Few understand the power of a learn by doing approach, and on Skillshare, not only do members learn by doing a class, you can also share a project and get feedback from the community. No matter your passion, be it interior design, photography, or social media, Skillshare is the place for you. And don't forget to check out Skillshare's new and improved class system and all new class topics on creative careers, AI innovation, and creative inspiration. I am so excited to share with you that the first 500 people to use my link in the description box down below will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. So there really is no reason for you not to get started today. Is there, Arden? No? Then let's get back to the video. Okay, everyone, let's talk about the next piece in your living room that needs some major consideration, and that is a rug. Rugs come in all shapes and sizes, and I love that, but not every rug is for everyone. Now, if you have wall-to-wall carpet in your living room, I do not think you need a rug. You could save a little bit of money by not having one. You could also save your life because they can be a safety hazard and something I think you should avoid. I think there are better ways to define a space than just with an area rug, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Now, if you are looking for an area rug, the major consideration you have to give is the durability. You may have walking pathways or egress points in your living room where a light colored rug just will not withstand. It'll get messed up, it'll get stained and ruined and dirty. You don't want that. There's no point in having that headache. If you are like me and you have recently adopted a puppy, well, he may have accidents in your home and may ruin your silk rug. We won't talk about that any further, but it is something you have to think about. And kids, they trip, they fall, they spill things. That's life. It happens. So getting the right rug will actually benefit you because it needs to have the durability you need in your home. So things like washable rugs, they may not be everyone's favorite, but they certainly can benefit your space and make your home clean, fresh, and smelling good and great and not be stained. And I think that is important to remember. If you feel that you can maintain having a beautiful silk or wool rug, hey, I am all for it, and it makes me so excited, but that's just not something everyone can have in their home. It's not durable enough for every single person. And when we talk about rugs, we also have to talk about the size of them. Getting the right size rug in your average living room can make it feel expansive and large, or it can make it feel luxurious and layered. And that is something I think really makes a difference in the average home. And I truly believe you can elevate the ordinary just through some of these basic design principles. And an oversized rug is that thing. Now, if your sofa backs against a wall, you want to bring the rug 3/4 of the way under that sofa. Your coffee table should sit entirely on the rug, and if you have an accent chair, the back legs of it can hang off, but it should also have its front legs sitting on that rug. That's a good size rug, and I can't sit here and say get an 8x10 or a 9x12 because your living room, your entire house is specific. It's not like everyone else's. There is not one size fits all. Or you have design and decorating questions you just don't have the answers to, might I recommend a design and decorating consultation with a designer like me? You can actually book that using the link in the description box down below, or you could go to intro.co/GarrettLeChic to get all of your design and decorating questions answered. Let's have a conversation about one of the other important elements in your living room. As a matter of fact, every element is, but I think a coffee table makes a big difference, and it actually adds a lot to the functionality of that space. Depending on the sofa you have will determine the shape and size of coffee table you need. If you have a sectional sofa, I would recommend a round coffee table because that curved shape will actually allow you to get into the corner of the sofa without injuring yourself. A round coffee table is also great if you have kids in the space because there are less sharp corners for them to injure themselves on, and that is a positive thing in my opinion. So I think that's great. You also can balance out the length of your sofa with your coffee table. So if you have a very linear sofa, an 8-foot sofa, you might want to have coffee tables that are 4 or 5 feet long to kind of balance that out. And I think that's great. But it doesn't have to be a singular coffee table. I often find that when we're relaxing in a living room, we may want to put our feet up on something and enjoy the space. I like layering multiple elements together like a coffee table and an ottoman. That way I can put my feet on the ottoman and my drink on the coffee table. And I think that benefits a living room as well. Another big question I get asked is about the height of a coffee table. Modern and contemporary design right now is using a low height coffee table. I don't love that because you have to bend down a lot further to get something off or set something down on it, and it increases the risk of dropping or spilling things. Also, some people just can't lean that far, and if you're having guests over, it's just not attractive. I also know that the standard height of a sofa seat traditionally is the height of a coffee table you would want to consider. So this sofa I'm sitting on is 18 inches and I have an 18-inch high coffee table here in front of me because that feels very comfortable, it feels very natural. Now in my living room downstairs, my coffee table is slightly higher at 21 inches. It's easier to set something down like a drink on if I'm enjoying a drink in that area, or if I'm reading a book, if I want to set that down. It's just very reachable for me and I appreciate meet that. So having something slightly higher is also worth considering. It's all about determining how you're using that space. And I actually have had some of you comment and say, no, we really like a much taller coffee table in our living room because we can eat off of it. And if that's what you want to do in your space, I say go for it. You can get creative about what you're bringing into that space, what the height of that coffee table is to determine the functionality, which I think is so interesting. Now, another big question I get asked is how far away from your sofa should your coffee table be? The technical answer to that is 15 to 18 inches, but the more fluid answer, the livable answer, is however far you need it to be. You need to be able to get into that area and get on your sofa, sit down there, but also lean forward and reach that table. If you're a little taller, maybe you need more leg room and your arms might be a little bit longer to reach, but if you're a little shorter, you might need that to be a bit closer too. So it's worth giving it some thought, testing out a few distances to determine exactly what that is. You could test it out and stage it with some boxes or something like that to really figure that out, to figure out the size of coffee table you actually need. Now, I'm all about how you enjoy and live in your space, which is why if you haven't already, I'd like to invite you to take a moment and hit that subscribe button. Join us, become a part of our GarrettLeChic family. We are on our journey to 100,000 subscribers, and if you subscribe now, you could call yourself an OG. And I love that for you, and I love that for me. I would also greatly appreciate if you gave this video a like, because if you've made it this far, I know you do. I would also recommend you share this video with a friend who maybe doesn't know some of these design tips, tricks, or hacks, or is looking to decorate their average living room. Be sure you share this video with them because friends help friends. Let's talk about accent chairs because I love a great accent chair. I think they can set the mood for a space. They can really define your style, and I think that's really interesting. You can do so much, and I would say for the size of an accent chair, I am less concerned with the width and more concerned with the scale. I like something that feels a little open, has some taller legs and maybe open arms, because it will make your space feel more open. And if you're looking to define a space that is open concept, an accent chair is the way to do that. Instead of adding a big wall there, having something that physically is in that place but feels more open will not condense the space but will define it, and that's something worth considering. An accent chair also should have a similar seat height to your sofa. That way it feels consistent across the room. I also like the back on that accent chair to be similar to the sofa. Now, that's not a defined rule. If you're floating a living room, that is something I would stick to. But if your sofa is up against a wall like mine is here, you can have accent chairs that have slightly taller backs on them because you do have the balance of something heavy like a wall and artwork behind your sofa and the back of those chairs. And like I said, the style of an accent chair can define your personal style or what message you're sending about the space. In my studio here, I have a more contemporary, a postmodern style sofa, but I have more traditional accent chairs. That way I get a strong mix of new and old, of modern and traditional, and I get that eclectic but chic feeling I want in my home, and you can define your style that way too. An accent chair also serves as a great opportunity for you to add some color and layering into your space. You can create a cohesive color scheme by pulling maybe the fabric of the sofa or a similar texture onto that accent chair in the form of an accent pillow. Maybe there's some different upholstery that works with the dining room across the way. Like, there's lots of things you can do with an accent chair that will really enhance your space. Something else that will enhance your space is great lighting. I love beautiful lighting, and I think that's the easiest way to elevate an average home and make it feel luxurious and beautiful and relaxing and inviting. I love great lighting, layered lighting specifically. If you have a large overhead light fixture, that's great. I say put it on a dimmer. You probably won't use it all that often once you have enough lamps in the space, because you'll realize how soft and welcoming, inviting, and comfortable those are. And I think that's great. There are lots of forms of lighting you could bring into your home though. You can get table lamps, you can get task lights, you can get floor lamps, reading lights, sconces. There's a million and one of them out there. I think the height of that lighting is important. I never want to see an exposed bulb. That's going to be too harsh and not comfortable. I also say you need to have at least 3 alternative sources of lighting. So 2 lamps and a floor lamp or a sconce is enough to really start that layered feeling. You can add a battery operated lamp onto your coffee table, or even like battery operated candles. They can be an alternative source of lighting that add to the moodiness of a space. You really want to get that layered lighting in in because it is going to make your space feel and look layered and beautiful and luxurious, but also make it very comfortable. And that may be the answer to your problem. Maybe you just need more layered lighting. Add a lamp in every corner, turn them on at night, make it a ritual and a routine, and it will elevate your space. Now, many of us find that we go into our living rooms for a main reason, one reason in particular, and that is to watch television. We love TV, okay? And you should not compromise and sacrifice on having a TV in your living room if that's what you want. A lot of people will tell you that, and that's okay to do. In my living room, I have a TV. We don't use it particularly often, but it's there if we want it. If we want to light the fire and watch a Christmas movie, I need to be able to do that because this is my home. I live here. I want to be able to snuggle up on the sofa with my husband and my dogs, and I want to be able to have a really great night in. And you should be able to do that. But the TV placement matters in your home. The big takeaway I want you to have from this portion of the video is I don't want to walk into your home or walk into your room and see a massive giant TV. That is just a big black hole on the wall absorbing all of the light and everything. It's the first thing I see because black is such a harsh color. I want that tucked away around a corner, somewhere we can't see it as we initially enter that space, where your guests would enter. If it's like you're walking through your house, you see the TV there, you know it's there, it's fine, but your guests don't want to be invited into a space to see a big TV in the middle of the room. I'd also say something with a lower profile that's mounted to the wall closely so we don't see behind it and wires and any dust or anything that's back there. We want it to be clean and tidy and neat, and I think that is an important thing to remember. I actually recently recommended to a client who lives near an artist community that maybe she puts her TV on an art easel. That could be interesting. And there's lots of things you can get that will, like, your TV will mount to and they roll around the room and you can move them from place to place. As a matter of fact, they're linked in my Amazon storefront and I would recommend you check that out, linked in the description box down below, where you can also find my stunning little light here behind me that so many of you have asked about. It's all down there, so be sure you check it out. Put like a playlist with a fireplace on it in that room and I'm good to go on the TV. You can do a lot with a TV. They do not have to be like invisible or out of sight. Like, it's real life. We live in our living rooms. That's what the average living room has. It has a TV. We may as well embrace it, but elevate it in any way we can. Well, there you have it, everyone. And hey, look at this gorgeous photo of me here that you can click to subscribe to the channel. And this video right up here, well, this is all about those living room layouts that I mentioned previously. Ooh, this video right here is a good one. It's all about decorating your average home, the entire house. Be sure you check it out and click this video right here, and I will see you over there.